Following the devastation along the Israel-Gaza border, where more than 20 were reported dead in Gaza and 4 in Israel after a hail of rockets and airstrikes, Trump 2020 campaign advisor Katrina Pearson tweeted this out. 650 rockets being fired into Israel from Gaza in an attempt to overwhelm Israel's Iron Dome. 173 intercepts, 4 people killed, and 28 wounded. What is Ilhan Omar's response to this violence? Will she condemn it? All right, there's a lot wrong here. Before I even get to the biggest fake news aspect of this tweet, she didn't mention anything about the people that were killed in Gaza. Apparently, those lives don't matter at all to her. What does Ilhan Omar have anything at all to do with this? Nothing. But on top of all that, the video that she posted with this tweet is not, in fact, from Gaza, but it's a 5-year-old video from Ukraine. So this is an artillery launch in Ukraine from 2015. Now, this lie couldn't be more obvious. This is what these conservatives, or at least Trump advisors, are doing. Spreading misinformation. And by the way, that tweet is still up. Now, after these tweets went out, Ilhan Omar did tweet about the what happened in Gaza and Israel, saying, "How many more protesters must be shot, rockets must be fired, and little kids must be killed until the endless cycle of violence ends? The status quo of occupation and humanitarian crisis in Gaza is unsustainable. Only real justice can bring about security and lasting peace." Now, I also should mention, because I don't want to get too much into the details of that story, because I'm also covering it in another video, but at least one pregnant woman was killed in those in Gaza in those strikes, and at least 1 or 2 children were killed as well in Gaza. So, look, it's not Israel attacking terrorists, as people like Katrina Pearson will want you to think, but it's actually the Israeli government killing innocent civilians. Now, on top of the fake news from Katrina Pearson, there's also more fake news here. This one from ex-White House Press Secretary Ari Fleischer. He tweeted out in response to Ilhan Omar pointing out the occupation of Palestinians by the Israeli government, said, Gaza is not occupied. Israel withdrew. Gaza's Palestinian leaders then burned synagogues and greenhouses full of food. Its leaders are terrorists who have attacked Israelis and Egyptians. The problem is not Israel. The problem is terrorists and their supporters like Ilhan Omar. Yeah, another tweet just chock full of fake news. So this idea that Gaza is not occupied, instead of me going over it, let me play this clip from Mehdi Hassan where he breaks down exactly how or exactly why Gaza is, in fact, occupied.
No discussion of Israel's illegal occupation of the Palestinian territories is complete without mentioning the land of the free. No, not the US. I am, of course, referring to Gaza. Didn't you hear? Israel's occupation of that strip of land, crammed full of 1.8 million Palestinians, ended in 2005 with Ariel Sharon's disengagement, apparently.
Israel doesn't occupy Gaza.
Israel pulled out of the Gaza Strip.
Here's the thing. The only people in the world who think Gaza isn't occupied are the Israelis. The United Nations still thinks it's occupied.
The Gaza Strip continues to be regarded as part of the occupied Palestinian territory.
Even Israel's bestest friend, the United States, includes Gaza under occupied territories. But given Israel did withdraw its troops and its illegal settlers in 2005, why is Gaza still considered occupied? Well, for a start, the Israelis decide who and what goes in and out of Gaza. With the help of their friends, the Egyptians, they control all the crossings. At one stage, the Israeli military wouldn't allow that well-known bomb-making ingredient, coriander, into free and independent Gaza. Okay, so Palestinians in the Gaza Strip can't just go on a road trip to Israel or the West Bank or even Egypt, but at least they can fly out of Gaza airport, right? Nope. Israel bombed it and has kept complete control over Gaza's airspace even after their disengagement. Maybe Gaza's Palestinians can go fishing instead. Wrong again. They can only fish up to 3 nautical miles off the coast before they get shot at. Israel maintains a naval blockade because Palestinians going fishing, that's obviously an anti-Semitic act of terrorism. So to recap, There is no occupation, but Israel completely, coincidentally, just happens to control Gaza's borders, airspace, territorial waters, and population register too. The Israelis literally get to define who is and who isn't a resident of Gaza. Occupation? What occupation?
Yeah, so that's the reality. Whether it's the UN, whether it's the Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, the Israeli-based human rights organization B'Tselem, they all agree that Gaza is occupied by the right-wing Israeli government. So, I mean, the problem with this, it's not even the fake news coming out of the Trump administration. It's not the fake news coming out of, Katrina Pearson or anybody else there. It's the fact that this is not common knowledge because the media doesn't do its job. And the media tries to play neutral, and really they don't even play neutral on this. They are all in when it comes to supporting Israel, and never give the correct context when it comes to what the Palestinians, how the Palestinians are being treated by the Israeli government. It misinforms people on all sides of the political spectrum. It's not just conservatives that think that Gaza isn't occupied, or that think that it's just those Palestinian terrorists. They're the ones shooting rockets. The Israelis aren't doing anything wrong. It's media like CNN, like MSNBC, that are also misreporting this. So this entire situation is disgusting, and to have such obvious, blatant lies, like putting out a fake video from Katrina Pearson that's actually from Ukraine, or the idea that Gaza isn't occupied, is incredibly destructive to the discussion around this incredibly serious issue.